Morning guys, before I crack on with the topic of this video, I want to just point out that this is the very first video that I shot using the Nikon D5000 that I've done an unboxing for and a review for. So hopefully from this point forward the quality of the videos are certainly going to be a lot better than what they have been. The sound will be a lot better hopefully. So let me know what you think. So leave some comments down below guys with regards to the quality, and your comments guys are what is helping me to make sure that I can give you much better video content, much better video quality, that type of thing. Okay, so what I want to talk about this morning is my concerns really for Apple as a company. Now I'm sure you're probably thinking, well why would you be concerned about Apple as a company? Listen, I'm not concerned about how much money they're making, that type of thing. I'm more concerned about from a user's point of view, the direction that Apple seem to be falling into at the minute. And guys, before I go on any further, this is not a bash video on Apple. You don't have to look very hard to find out or to deduce that I am very much an Apple enthusiast, and this is by no means a hate video towards Apple or anything like that. I'm just genuinely concerned with what I perceive to be going on with Apple at the minute, and some of it I think is pressure that Apple are under and what have you, but that'll become more apparent in a second. Over the last year or so, I would say that Apple have kind of their quality has taken a little bit of a tumble. That's probably the politest way of saying it. If you look back over to the point where the 27-inch iMac came out and the problems that they had with their screen, those problems escalated to such an extent that a lot of machines were called in, which was going to cost Apple money, and a lot of sales were halted on the 27-inch iMac as well, which again is going to, that's going to cost Apple money to do that. Not only that, it's true what they say, customers are very, very fickle when it comes to things like this. If somebody goes to buy a 27-inch iMac and it's not available, and they go the next day and it's still not available, and they go back the next day, it's still not available, regardless what the reasons are, if the consumer's not interested what the reasons are, they'll go somewhere else, and therefore Apple are going to lose sales from something like that. Obviously a few people not buying 27-inch iMacs isn't going to put too much of a dent on their sales, but nevertheless, it's still where Apple are going to lose money. Then came the Mobile Me incident. Well, sorry, I know the Mobile Me was a little bit before the 27-inch iMac, but they released the Mobile Me right about the same time as as a matter of fact, I think it was on the same day they released the iPhone 3G. There was a lot of problems with that. People couldn't sync, people lost contacts, emails, lots of things like that. That lasted for about 2 months. It took 2 months for that to kind of resolve itself. People were saying at the time that they thought there was too much resources and attention going into the iPhone, and therefore Mobile Me was kind of like left on the side and not really given that much thought. How much truth in that, I don't know, but nevertheless, the fact is, a lot of people lost contacts and emails using their Mobile Me. Now Apple dealt with that situation really well. They give people a 2-month extension on their annual contract, but that didn't resolve people losing all that information. And again, possibly people left the Mobile Me for that. Then the next thing came was the iPad. The iPad was released, and because of the high demand, there was a shortage of the iPad. People were only limited to 2 units, I think it was, in America. Then it came out in the UK, and similar thing, you could only get 1 or 2 units here in the UK because of such high demand. Now Apple have been in this, okay, the iPad was a new device, really, it was a new category completely, but judging from Apple's success with the iPod Touch and the iPhone, Apple should really have known that the iPad, regardless of how people were responding to Steve Jobs' conference when he done about it, because a lot of people were saying, oh, it wasn't what they expected, blah blah blah, the usual crap that comes out whenever Apple release something. Apple still should have realised that there's going to be lots of these sold, and should have catered for that, and they didn't. And people were having to wait 2-3 weeks after the release date to get their hands on an iPad. Then, when the iPad went on sale here in the UK, it was only about a month later that the iPhone 4 came out. The iPhone 4 came out with lots of issues again. There was a shortage on the black. First of all, Apple had two models, a white and a black. There was a massive shortage on the black phone. That went completely off the shelves within the first day, and the white iPhone 4 didn't even reach the shelves. Still nobody really knows the true reason why that didn't happen, and I think that's a big problem as well, because if you advertise two models, a black and a white, then both those models should be available at the launch date. Then came out the images of the glass, which I have my own opinion on that. Then came out that you had to hold the phone in a certain way, otherwise you were going to break the signal up. And that was ironic in itself, because then people started worrying, well, Apple have brought out this new bumper case which actually covers where they're talking about, and so therefore, this was another issue. Then on top of all of these different things within this 18-year period, then we have Apple being accused of being somehow in the middle of the fact that abroad, people who are working in manufacturing plants for Apple are committing suicide due to terrible working conditions, long hours, blah 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 blah. And although that's a really, really tragic story, and it's something that Steve Jobs touched on for the last time he was speaking with Walt Mossberg in the All Things Digital, I personally don't think Apple were as guilty as people tried to make them out to be. But nevertheless, it's still bad press. In terms of the iPhone 4 case thing, this is my take on it, and I know people are going to jump right down my throat about this and think that I'm too cynical and too paranoid about it. But my take is, there's far too many people and companies that are very, very quick and very, very eager to put the boot into Apple at any particular time. Now, Steve Jobs stood up in that auditorium and he turned around and he said that the glass was made from the same material as jet fighters and high-speed trains. And I personally think that when certain people got these phones, they vigorously smashed them to prove a point. Now, you're probably going to think, well, why would they do that with a brand new phone? Because they're going to lose money. What would they stand to gain? Well, what they stand to gain is putting the boot into Apple, kind of making Apple look like idiots. And they wouldn't lose money, because let's face it, guys, when Apple make a claim to that effect, that the glass is made of such high quality that it's on jet fighters and speeding trains, if someone takes the iPhone 4 back with a smashed glass front, Apple are never going to prove that it was either dropped or a hammer was put through it or it was knocked off a wall vigorously. They're not going to be able to prove that, and so therefore they're going to have to refund or replace the phone. Either way, the person who done it isn't out of pocket. Now, guys, I'm not pointing the finger and I'm not saying that people definitely done this, but that's just my take on it. I don't see how. I mean, if I drop my iPhone 3GS, that's not going to break as easily as some people were saying that the iPhone 4 did. And it's not made of the same material. Now, I think Apple are in a no-win situation, okay? Because despite everything I've just said there, Apple can do one of two things. They can release products and devices all the time, and fall into this trap. And this is where I think all these faults are coming from, because the demand on Apple to release new products, and not just new devices and upgrades, but new innovation. People want new innovation all the time from Apple, and because Apple have set the bar so high, that's why people expect it all the time. Bill Gates himself said at All Things Digital D8 that some companies are lucky if they create one innovative design, feature or device in their company's history's lifetime. So Apple are pulling these things out of a bag like it's lucky dip, innovation all the time. The iPod, the iPhone phone, the iPad, those types of things, and people are expecting it all the time. And as a result of that, I think Apple are falling into this, and they're trying to push everything through really fast. And as we all know, when you rushing at something, and I'm not talking about somebody from Russia, I'm talking about if you're going too fast at something, you're likely to make a mistake. Whereas, as opposed to slowing things down a little bit and thinking a little bit more methodically about it, okay, which is the flip side of the coin of what I've just said. The other thing Apple can do is they can release products not as frequently. Make sure that none of these faults are there in the first place, and therefore when you as a customer get the device, none of these problems are going to be there. But then, like I say, the flip side of that is the tech media and the tech community and certain influential people within the tech industry are going to come down on Apple, and they're going to say, why are you not, you're just far too slow, you're running too slow, we need things all the time. So it's a double-edged sword for Apple. But I think as Apple being the company that they are, they need to prioritise, they need to work out what they're going to do. Are they going to push things out regularly and run the risk of having to bring things back, run the risk of losing customers? I mean, I know some people that didn't buy the iPad just purely on the basis that we got it a good month and a half after it was released in the States, and then when it did come out here, there was a shortage of it as well. I know that's pretty silly, but that's a fact. People did do it, like people did respond like that. So what do you think, guys? What are your comments? What do you think about what I've just said? Do you think that you as a consumer, would you prefer that Apple brought out new products and innovation slightly further apart, but when it comes out it's not going to have any flaws with it? You're not going to run the risk of having to send it back, just the way it used to be with Apple? Or are you quite happy for Apple to keep pumping out new things and run the risk of as a consumer of getting one of these and then having to send it all back? I mean, from Apple's point of view, it's great getting all these things out, but they are losing. They are going to be not losing money, because obviously Apple are not losing money, but it's unnecessary cost on Apple's behalf. So what do you think, guys? What are your comments? Do you think I'm just being too cynical about the whole situation? Do you think I'm just overreacting? I mean, when I say I'm concerned, I don't lose sleep over this, guys, but nevertheless, I don't want to see happen to Apple what has happened to Microsoft. I mean, they're still a big company, but they themselves say that they are finding it really difficult to pull themselves out of the scrape that they're in at the minute. And Apple, as a result, have gone way past Microsoft. So that's it, guys. That's all I want to say on that particular subject. Guys, don't forget, okay, it's the end of June now. On the 1st of July, I'll be making an announcement as to who's won the giveaway for the iPod Shuffle. If you want to be in for that, you still have time to be in for that. All you got to do is go across to techplanet30.com, register your details, and then you'll be in for the draw. You'll also be in for any future prize giveaways that I'll be doing. The next one I'm going to give away is an iPod Touch. I spoke to Vicky about that, and she says that's okay, that I can go out and buy that. So the next one is an iPod Touch. So if you want to be in for that, and all you got to do is register your details, and you are automatically in for every single giveaway that happens via techplanet30.com in the future from here on in. Okay, guys, thanks very much for tuning into the video. Don't forget to tell me what you think of the quality, and follow me on Twitter. If you follow me on Twitter, then you're going to get the updates about the giveaways, that type of thing. All the details of where you can follow me will come up after this video. So I look forward to seeing you guys on Twitter and Facebook and friend feed and all the other different things that I'm part of now. Okay, thanks very much, guys, and speak to you all later. Bye.